All right, good evening once more. So I was saying we'll be together in this module, and I'm Mayungo Msenge. Okay, so for today, looking at time, since we're already behind time, let's just try to look at the introduction and see how far we can go in today's class. But before that, I want to believe there's Natasha here as well as Vivian. Am I right?
Yes, you are right.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay, so it's business law. That's the module. From the introduction, let's just try to go through the content of the course, what we are expected to know by the end of this module. Are you able to see my screen on your end?
Yes.
All right. Right. All right. I'm aware that you do have an assignment, and so how we'll run in this course is we'll be trying to look at both the module, the notes, and then we'll be also creating time to run through the assignment. Let's just try to guide you here and there, see on how you can tackle the assignment. That does not mean providing answers, but then I'm saying it's guidance, especially on the part of citation, because business law is the way we get to cite business law and company law, which you do in your second year. Is different from the where we get to cite in these other courses. So we also tackle that part so that at least you find it a bit easy, even as you work on your assignment. Okay, so talking about this interesting module, business law. Much focus is on the business aspect. And so now we do understand that even as much as our interest is to conduct business on a daily basis, there's also one aspect which is important to consider. As a business personnel, you cannot run your business successfully, rather away from you having challenges in your daily operations. And so it's for this very reason that business law comes in. And so it's important that you know, or rather you do have a basic idea of the law in association or in line with a business. So what happens in a case where thieves come and steal some property in your company? What would be the way forward? Of course, always think of engaging the police or engaging in the law. But then how do you do this if you do not have an idea of how the law operates or what the law is? And so the basic idea with this module is just basically to introduce you to what the law is, the law of the land, and how business is connected to the law, and how the law is helpful in business. And so it's a very important module that you need to understand and appreciate at the end of the semester. Well, let me just try to run through the course content. All right, I believe you do have this already with you. So in unit 1, we are just basically looking at the introduction of the module. This is something that we've done back in secondary school, I want to believe. In I don't know if you had civic education, grade 8 and 9, but all in all, it's something that we do talk about almost on a daily basis. So unit 1 under introduction will be just basically looking at the Zambian legal system. We'll be looking at the Zambian constitution, look at parliament, the sources of laws in Zambia, the constitution, legislation, and so on and so forth. And then unit 2, that's where we'll go further by looking at law of contract. What is really a contract? So under that, to be looking at items like the offer and acceptance, trying to understand further what really law of contract is. An example might be given. You go in ShopRite, you get what could be the favorite thing that we usually get in ShopRite? Talk of bread. When does that bread become yours? Is it immediately you get it from the shelf, or at what point does that bread now belong to you and away from the ShopRite store? Or what would happen in a situation where you get in ShopRite or any store, and then you want to purchase something which is breakable, either plates or anything that is breakable. But then along the way, before even reaching the counter where you need to make the payment, it falls off your hand and it breaks. So in that case, who is reliable? Is it you, or you are safe, mean you won't pay anything in that case? So basically that would be what we'll be looking at under that unit, which is unit 2, and more to that. Unit 3, of course, we continue with the contents of contract and breaching of contract. When do you breach? When is the contract breached? Further, unit 4, we still continue with unit 4. Unit 5, we still have the law of torts. Unit 6 will be focusing much on the urgence, and I will look at partnership, which is the people coming together in business. So what is considered to be partnership, and what are the advantages and disadvantages of partnership, and more to partnership? We'll be looking at that, and we'll conclude the module by looking at the employment law. Who is an employee, or what is an employee, and the relationship that exists between the employer and the employee. Well, for now, looking at time, let's just try to see how far we can go, since just an introduction. Now, my expectation from you is we need to understand one thing, that this is not secondary school. And so there's much that is expected of you, especially in area of research. Now, if I was to tell you that 7 times 1, the answer is 7, which is correct, you have that in mind, that, okay, 7 times 1, the answer is 7. But the understanding will be far different if you were to find that answer on your own by doing the research. You research and then you get to find that 7 times 1, the answer is 1. So what I'm trying to say is more research is required of you, especially that is at university or tertiary level. The more you get to find out more things on your own, the more you get to know them and understand them better. Are we there?
Yes, sir.
I think it's okay if you were to leave your mics on, since we are just a few here, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Okay. So we're talking of business. Now, it's interesting to know that conducting business in the 21st century requires skills and knowledge beyond just understanding the theories of management or how the business gets to operate. So there are certain other skills that you need to know other than you just knowing how the business gets to operate and your focus on profit maximization, because the whole goal or the sole goal of a business is what? It's profit maximization. And this is what we learn in microeconomics. So other than you just focusing in this area, there are also other parts which comes with it. So this is one of the skills we are bringing in, is the issue of the law. And so it's important that we understand the basic of the law. Now, we will not really go in detail of this, of law itself, because law is huge. And moreover, we are not law students. So we are just trying to get the basics of the law itself in connection to business, so that even as we'll be running, or rather even as we are running our businesses, we know when the law comes in and when the law does not come in. Okay, so I think on the other part, I'll just leaving them on the assessment and other thing. These other things are clear. Let me just, all right, so we are under unit 1 on the introduction. So we want to define what law is, and then explain the Zambian legal system. Also look at the nature of Zambia law, identify the sources of laws in Zambia. Of course, they're a good number. And so this is what we focus much in this unit. At least by the end of this unit, we should be able and comfortable to know what is law and what is not law. So let's discuss. I hear it from Natasha or Vivian, what real law is from your end. I think I've put that slide there, I don't know. I just want to hear it from your own understanding and in your own words. What is law?
For me, how I understand law is a set of rules that governs the society in order to maintain security and peace.
Okay. Thank you for that. Natasha, oh, that was Vivian, right?
Yes.
Okay, Natasha, do you have anything to say?
I do.
Yes, please.
So I can say, how can I say it? Law is a system of rules which a country recognizes and regulates and enforces on people.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much for those responses. At least the good part is we have an idea of what we are talking about. And so you've brought in a common aspect of the rule. So it's something that protects society or a group of people in order for them to be organized in everything that they do. Now, this law, it can either be something to guide a small group of people or a society, or to a larger extent, the country, just like in the case of the Constitution. Now, in simple terms, just like you've defined, just like Vivian said, and Natasha, that is how we can define what law is. Once you just about you knowing and understanding something, and then you explain it using your own language, but you are still in the same area or context. So that is it. Now, other people, there's so many ways in which we can define what law is. Now, remember, we are focusing much on law in connection to business, and so no wonder we call it business law. In other words, we can say law is an obligation or an obligatory rule of conduct, how society or a certain group of people gets to conduct themselves. But then other scholars like Sormond, they've also defined law in their own way. So there is one scholar by the name of Sormond who defines law by saying law consists of any principle which is recognized and enforced by the courts in the administration of justice. So the whole point of law is to bring sanity, to bring justice to those offended or in an area where there's confusion. That is law. Furthermore, we find another scholar who brings in a deeper definition of what law is, James. James also says law is a body of rules for the guidance of human conduct, which are imposed upon and enforced among the members of a given state or society. So basically all these, we are still coming back to one point. So we are just basically saying law is a set of rules that governs a certain group of people or a society or a country. That is what law is. Now, in this case, we are not really much focusing law to be a set of rules that governs other areas, but much focus is in connection with business. So business as well, there are laws or rules that governs, that need to guide the operations of each and every business. We just talked of partnership. If you get into a you partner with someone, you won't just say, oh, Natasha and Vivian, okay, let's start working. Of course, there'll be something that will do what? That will guide you. And those something that you are putting in to guide you on how to get the profit, on how to share the profit, to share the losses, and how you put in the capital. Those are the rules and laws that you are going to agree on as partners. So basically, this is what we are talking about. Now, it's also important to know that these laws, not that each and every law, they have to be written. No, not all laws are written, but then we still recognize them to be laws. So in a situation, say in class, we know that if one is in class, is it okay for you to be learning while you are smoking or drinking? Is that okay?
No.
It's not. But then is that a written law or rule? It's not. But then we know that this is wrong to do. So basically, so we are saying it's not all laws that are written. There's some unwritten laws and written ones. Just like a constitution, there's a written constitution and unwritten constitution. So we find laws in homes, we find laws almost in everything, in every part of life. We find laws to guide the smooth operations of that area. Okay, so let's try to focus on, want to bring in the Zambian legal system. That's what we've just talked about. Then talking about the constitution, might be so, it sounds to be so simple, but when remember, this is the introduction. So we just want to remind ourselves of things that we do already know. So about the Zambian constitution, know that it's the supreme law rather of the land. Just trying to zoom it so that you can see it clearly. All right. So the Zambian constitution is a set of rules, a set of body that contains all the regulation and rules that we have as a country. And we know that this constitution is usually divided in articles. So we have those examples of articles there, which are part of the constitution. Article 5, which provides for citizenship in case you want to know more about a citizen, who qualifies to be a Zambian citizen, and other than you being born in Zambia, who else can qualify as a citizen of the Republic of Zambia. So Article 5 talks about that. We also have other articles 12 through to 21 and what they do provide. So that's about the constitution. Now, there's something that I want to bring on the constitution. So they're saying, let me read this statement, which is very important, saying the Constitution of Zambia is supposed to be the enactment of people's desires and expectations. So usually the constitution, it's made up by the citizens of Zambia. In this case, we ourselves. So all those in Zambia are subject to the constitution. So you find that we know there are other laws that are not stipulated or indicated in the Zambian constitution. But then, despite that being the case, they have to be in line with the constitution. Anything that is not connected or similar to the constitution, then that will not be considered as law. It's void. So we are saying the article should be Article 1, Section 3 of the Constitution of Zambia states that this constitution is the supreme law of Zambia, and if any other law is inconsistent with the constitution, that other law shall be the extent of the inconsistency to be void. So any other constitution has to be in line with the constitution, which is the supreme law of the land. If it's not, then it will be null and void. So that is the importance of the constitution. So it guides everything that happens in the country. And then further we find parliament, which is just by parliament, of course, I think the first thing that comes in our mind should be MPs. The only place where you find people making that's I was told that's how that's how parliamentarians do it. And so when talk about parliament, we are just talking basically about legislation, the making of the law, the body or the people who've been mandated to come up with this law. Later on, we find it or we call it the constitution. More information, we can find it. There's a link there that is provided. So that's about the constitution. Now, we also want to understand further the sources of laws in Zambia. And one of them, the first rather, it's the constitution. So I haven't talked much about the constitution on top there in the first place, because we still have the same issue down under the sources of laws. We have the constitution plus other sources that we'll be looking at. So basically, this is what we'll focus much in this module. Now, expectations, just like I said earlier on, you need to read more. Business law as a course on its own, it's a course or module that requires you to study more, to find out more of what the law is, how it's connected to business. And unfortunately, it's not a module that you can master. It's not something that you need to master, but something that you need to know. By you knowing, you get to appreciate it at the end of the day. So I'm not encouraging anyone to master this or any part of this module. At least just know it. By you knowing, it will help you how to come up and how to express yourself even in answering these the questions. So for the questions, I'm still trying to organize more questions, because I feel the best way approach that we'll do is we'll not really much focus on the module such. Even as much as we focus on the module, also have to be dealing with the questions and looking at the time frame that we do have. So even as we run through the module, we'll be doing more questions to have an interaction with questions, but then questions are needed. So in case you do have questions, you can also please feel free to forward them in our group, at least so that I can also have enough time to go through them, check them out. But I should get some questions from the department. The question that the topics related to each and every section that would be catering. At least by us doing that, we'll be guided properly. Otherwise, maybe let me just pause for now. If there's anything from you.
I don't know if we have ended, and then we can like comment on the classes that we'll be having. Can I go ahead?
Please feel free, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you. For me, I'm really glad that you're having this class. How I wish we studied area also. I'm sure by now we could have been fully baked in business law. Yes, like the way it is, law is it's a different course from these others, like principles of management and business environment, whereby yes, you can study, you can understand. But law, business law, it has got its own language. and of which meaning that at the end of the day, even if when you try to study, you'll be unable to get enough information. Why? Because of the language that it has. For me, I'm so happy and I'm so glad that we're having a tutor that is taking us in this course. And then on the questions, for me, on my side, yes, I do have a lot of questions in business law, and of which I'll forward them to you, so that as we are learning, then we are going through the questions. In fact, going through the questions is the best thing to do, because you're going to understand more and on how we're going to be tackling those questions during the final exams. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, that's noted. Is anything else?
I wanted to ask, you mentioned to say we shouldn't just focus on the module, but also source out other books. I don't know if you can also help us on that, which other books we're trying to source out that can give us more information and knowledge.
Okay. So yes, I'm not encouraging you to focus on the module, because the module is to summarize. It's very summarized. So by you focusing on this alone, you will not really have much information that you need. And so you expanding your studies is needed. Now the other materials that you need to study, it's indicated in this very module on the recommended and prescribed books to study. It's already there, so you can have those books. Now, I'm not sure if you are in hold of any seniors, of your seniors, the second years.
No, we're not. For my part, I'm not, because we only came for those 2 weeks. And others were not yet opened. We left, and that's when classes were opened. So I don't have anybody.
Okay. All right. No problem. Let me see what I can do on that, but I think I can find something from the guys who are in second year now.
Okay. And are we also going to be taking tests? At least also help us on past papers.
So for the past papers, they'll be provided. Let me just try to gather something. Because for now, in first year, you're just basically focusing on business law. It's just an introduction. It's just a small piece of the whole big part, because you still have company law in your second year. So this is basically just the introduction to an introduction that will lead you into company law, which the second years are now doing. So I will try to share some of the papers that they had in last year and other material that can be of help. Otherwise, for now, you need to study and not mastering, just like I said. Business law is far different from these other courses, just like Vivian said. It's different, business environment. Excuse me. A business environment, at least you can even to some extent apply a common knowledge, because it's something that you can easily relate. But then this one is a bit different. So with that, you need, the more you get to study, the more you get to research, at least the more you get to understand the module better. Are we together?
Yes.
Sure. So you are expected to study very, very much. I know the busy schedules and all that, but please, I encourage you to have time to study and focus on not just this module alone, but please, and all the courses that you do have. My expectation from you is the same energy, the same zeal that you had when enrolling for this at this institution the first time, that should be the same energy that you should have, no matter the challenges that you face along the way till you reach the final year. I know it's challenging here and there, but think, then can it be called a degree minus challenges? So you have to face these very challenges are the ones that have to push you until you reach your final destination. So let's keep pushing. It's very much possible. Unless if there's anything for now. This is 52, and this we are meeting tomorrow, right?
Yes, we are. And then another request, sir.
Yes, please.
Yes, I don't know if you can also include Friday. At least we have 3 days in a week.
Friday, okay. On that
Yeah,
one,
it's just a request.
Okay, it's noted. We'll get back to you. Let me see
Yes,
how.
at least looking at the time, we've started this course.
Yes, so at least the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because we are late month. And soon,
When are
1
we?
month from now,
When are
we'll
you having
start.
the,
Pardon?
when are the exams?
It's somewhere July, August.
Okay.
So looking at time, doing it just twice in a week, I think we want to finish everything. So at least let's whereby maybe we are starting May somewhere there, and at least we go past 60%. Na main course, which test to understand 60%.
Yeah, so no
Then
wonder
this other 40% we can go and research on our own, and at least we have got a big hint on the course.
Yeah, so no wonder I brought in the issue of past papers. What will help us to cut most of the a bigger space of the course. It's not really by us going through the module, but then questions will help us. So, and by us going through questions, we'll know which areas are usually asked on. And once we identify that, then we'll be safe.
Yes.
So that's the approach that we want to use. So, well, that is also noted. We'll get back to you on that one. Let me just do a bit of consultations and see what will be the way forward. Now, I don't know if who is the lecturer who takes you in this course?
Arnold Kaluba.
Okay. All right. Are you usually in touch with them during while you're home?
No, since residentials, it's been quiet.
Okay. All right. Otherwise, let's work together and see how far we can go. The goal or the target is everyone to clear this module and progress.
Yes.
Sure. Otherwise, if there's nothing for now, I don't know if there's anything.
On my side, there's nothing.
Me too. There's nothing for now.
All right, guys, it's been a pleasure. Yes, I hope we've got something in today's class. It was just an introduction. So please, let's have. Okay, for now, we are done. Thank you. We'll meet tomorrow. I'll communicate the time. Should be 20:30 tomorrow's meeting.
Okay.
Sure. And I hope you are aware of the timetable. And I don't know the crashing that happened today with the course that microeconomics, by it overshooting the time. So if this continues, we'll be kind of affected because it has to be at least 20 we start.
No, that lecture is just once in a while. It's not every weekend.
No, okay.
We'll be communicating
right.
in case we have classes with her.
Please, I will appreciate if you do that. Thank you very much.